Mantra price prediction after the crash. Buy now? Have you heard about the Mantra crash and are wondering, what is Mantra anyway? Have you also wondered if Mantra can rise again after the crash? In this video, I analyze Mantra and address the question of whether Mantra is now a stroke of genius or if it is dead. Mantra, what is it actually? In just 1 minute, I'll explain to you what Mantra is. Mantra, or OM, is a crypto platform that transforms real assets like real estate into digital assets. This is called RWA, or Real World Assets. Founded in 2020, Mantra is building a super secure blockchain that banks and companies love because it complies with regulations. With partners like Google Cloud and the Mag Group, Mantra aims to connect traditional finance with crypto. After the 90% crash in April 2025, they are now initiating buybacks and token burns to fight back. What does the market realization of Mantra look like? Ultimately, they are a mid-cap altcoin. However, they have strong potential and cater to an important narrative. How high can Mantra rise? All of this in this complete analysis now. In this area, a solid 7. What is the circulating supply? Over 95% is already on the market, which is, of course, an extremely high number and positive. In this area, therefore, 8. Roadmap. How strong is Mantra's roadmap? They have extreme goals here, but the transparency suffers a bit. And the question is how solidly they will implement them. In this area, only 6. Stop. If you appreciate such in-depth analyses, then feel free to give a like. That supports my channel and my work. Thank you very much at this point for your support. How strong is the team? Who is actually behind it? John Patrick Mullen is the CEO. They do have fintech expertise, but the blockchain experience is lacking. Additionally, they have had some controversies recently. In this area, therefore, only 5. What narrative does Mantra serve? Ultimately, the tokenization of assets, such as real estate, RWAs, and all of this according to the applicable laws, meaning TradeFi and DeFi. Everything is fundamentally well positioned here. 8. What problem does Mantra solve? Mantra offers the integration of RWAs securely and scalably on the blockchain. 8. How does sustainability look? Mantra uses proof of stake, which is energy efficient. How do the investors and capital look? They do have some investors, but no big names. However, they have partnerships, for example, with Google Cloud, which indicates that they are financially well positioned. Still, no high-profile investors, only 6. Who is the competition? Ondo Finance? Centrifuge? What does Mantra do better now? Above all, the institutional partnerships are a strength of Mantra. By the way, I have also analyzed Centrifuge and Ondo. Both are also extremely exciting projects, especially Centrifuge. Still has an extremely low market cap. I will link the analysis for you below in the comments. In this area, a solid 7. How is the marketing of Mantra? They have solid marketing, but the past controversy and the 90% drop have severely damaged the image. In this area, only 6. How simple is the idea of Mantra? The idea, for example, of turning real estate into digital assets is easy to understand. In this area, a strong 8. What is the long-term vision of Mantra? Ultimately, they want to become the leading platform for RWAs, especially in the area of regulatory RWAs. A strong 7. How does it look? How is the coin? Deflationary? Does it have a max supply? They have a total supply, which is already positive. But token burnings start only in 2027, which is suboptimal. 6. Then how does it look? This is in the solid range here. 8. How is the liquidity? They have, of course, been traded extremely well recently, which is positive, but also negative. But you have to be careful here. If, of course, the price pressure increases and there are no more buyers, then you won't be able to sell your coin in the future. Because even in terms of liquidity, they are strong in the markets. 9. Distribution. How was it at the beginning? 50% went to early investors, 15% to the team, and about 8% are used for staking. Here you can see that early adopters hold an extremely large number of tokens, which can become a risk. 5. Top coin holders. What does it look like there? Here we have a problem with transparency. According to rumors, the team holds an extreme number of tokens. However, this is not verified. Nevertheless, the recent 90% drop has raised quite a few questions. 4. Just in that area. Then, what is the utility of the Mantra token? Staking, lending, voting rights, and DeFi. Almost 30% through staking per year. That's a decent return, the highest in the crypto sector. All in all, they are strongly positioned in terms of the token's utility. 9. How is the community? They are active on Twitter, active on Telegram. All in all, they have a large community, but it has lost some trust in the project due to the last crash. only 7 in this area. What events are coming up for Mantra this year? They want to establish more partnerships. Ultimately, they want to make a recovery, meaning to really get out of the hole from this 90% drop. The CEO has already said this in the end. Nevertheless, the future should be viewed critically. One really needs to be careful here, only 6. And then we come to the conclusion. 69.4% is a solid result, but it must be approached with caution. Mantra has an interesting use case and strong partners purely through its technology and narrative. But the crash showed how non-transparent they actually are. Is it a speculative bet with extremely high risk? Before we get to the price scenarios, what do you think about Mantra? Risk asset or better to leave it aside? Let me know in the comments. Let's move on to the price scenarios, but they should be taken with caution. Based purely on mathematical calculation, if the entire crypto market grows massively, if they can truly recover and regain trust, then an increase up to $8 would be possible. However, this is not financial advice, but as mentioned, just a mathematical calculation. I personally would be extremely cautious here. By the way, if you're interested in altcoins, I'll link a crypto exchange below where you can buy altcoins. Now that you know the story of Mantra, I'll link an altcoin analysis with a price forecast up here, where there are no controversies, but on the contrary, it keeps growing and growing and growing. Why? All of this in this complete analysis with price scenarios. So, see you soon!